977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Drew DeArmond and Steve Moulton.
Two tight end look with Robbie Oates and C.J. Dupree in the ball game for Alabama. Also three wideouts. Quarterback Keith Milroe. Touchdown, Alabama. He goes left side. He walks in, and the Crimson Tide gets its first points of the 2024 season, and the first with Kalen DeBoer as the head coach. Now they'll go play action. They'll look, they'll fire, and it's going to be picked off. Intercepted. Emmanuel Henderson Jr. bringing it back. Check that Keon Sabb. I'm sorry. Wrong number 3 that I looked at. Sabb able to make the pick. Gets it inside the 20-yard line of the Hilltoppers, and Alabama will have it 1st and 10 in the Chick-fil-A red zone. Milroe looking, plenty of time. Fires across the middle. Catch is made. Williams breaks the tackle. Williams, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns, 2 electric early on. Ryan Williams, his second score. This one 55 yards, and with 1:30 to go in the first half, another touchdown, Alabama, and a 41-0 lead. Claps his hands, gets the snap, and then gets to eat the turf. Quay Robinson, the Wolf, eaten early. A sack all the way back to the 30-yard line. 2 wideouts each side. Milroe keeps it himself. Milroe inside the 10. Milroe dives. Did he get in? He did. Touchdown, Alabama, and the Tide rolls to a 48-0 lead thanks to the 21-yard touchdown run from Jalen Milroe. Single setback again is Riley. They'll hand it off to him. No, it'll be a keeper. Simpson right side. 10-5. Touchdown, Alabama. Ty Simpson going 14 yards for the score. Check it, 15 yards. And Alabama extends its lead. It's now a 62-0 advantage with 10:04 to play. Alabama wins it. 10 seconds, all that's left on the clock. It doesn't really matter as the two sides are already out on the field shaking hands, including Tyson Helton of Western Kentucky and Alabama's undefeated head coach. Kalen DeBoer, 1-0, is the head man at the University of Alabama. An impressive, to say the least, 63-0 victory over Western Kentucky. The Hilltoppers challenged Bama early. It was 7-0, and they were driving before a takeaway by the Tide defense turned things around, and Bama has not looked back since. 63-0 again, your final score. The Tide a winner in its 2024 season opener, and Kalen DeBoer a victor in his debut as the head man at the University of Alabama.
And with that, we welcome you in to another year of the Bama Recap Show. Really appreciate Lawlers BBQ for being our presenting sponsor. That's some good stuff there at Lawlers BBQ. And Drew DeArmond, good morning to you, sir. The more things stay the same. What's the saying? The more things change, the more they stay the same. But it's nice to have some competent coaches down in Tuscaloosa, right?
Well, I consider it just, the boogeyman.
Reincarnated.
He was played by different people. And so I thought overall that, there was some penalties and a couple of turnovers. Well, one was called back due to roughing the passer. That would have been a Ty Simpson interception when he got hit in the chest.
Yeah.
And they used their weight to land on him, but, because that hurried his throw. But other than that, Milroe did have a couple of fumbles. One he got back, one he lost, and it wasn't really a bad snap. The ball went right through his hands. He told us in the post game that it was just nerves. He just having a little bit of anxiety for the first game. It was a little high, but it should have been handled. But other than that, man, come on, you're going to have some rough patches. The defense gave up something very unusual, a 21-play drive for 71 yards, and yet turned them away on downs because they already had a big lead. And then, of course, they forced a 38-yard field goal attempt, which was no good. So,
that's right.
So they stood on their heads a little bit and got the shutout. And really, honestly, Western Kentucky had, I think officially 145 yards.
That's right.
They got it on basically 2 drives, at least 7.
That one drive you're talking about.
Yeah, but then the drive with the field goal. 3/4 of their yards came on 2 drives. Most of it was a suffocation by Alabama. They only had one sack, but they really harassed both quarterbacks.
Well,
And,
I do want to ask you about the very first series for Alabama offensively. What did you see there, Drew?
Well, I just saw that, Milroe, he held on to the damn ball too long.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like last year. He ended up getting hit. He fumbled. He got it back, and it put him in a hole on third down, and they could not, get out of it through a poor ball. And then, and honestly, their two worst offensive possessions were the first series of each half. Other than that, they were rolling.
Yeah.
And I thought the concepts were good. I thought using Milroe in a single wing was good as a runner, and gets him lathered up. And he did after, holding on to the ball too long a couple of times early. I thought he was more decisive in deciding to take off and run. And look, let's not, and I asked Milroe this after the game, but let's not misunderstand something. Nobody knew about Caden Proctor until the game started.
That's correct.
Okay. And then all of a sudden, Elijah Pritchett's at left tackle. What's up with Proctor? Well, it sounds like, he got hurt in warmups and saw him on the field after the game. His shoulder was definitely restricted and immobilized. It's either a shoulder / elbow issue. If it's an elbow issue, it could be bad.
Yeah.
I mean, because I heard there's, that could be a UCL. I mean, if it's a UCL and he blew out his elbow, he's probably out for the year. Okay. Let's just be blunt. Hopefully not. I mean,
we're not reporting that.
From a really good source, yesterday at the game, it sounds like he was getting an MRI today, and then he will be out for a while. They don't know how long. Okay. So hopefully, as a matter of fact, the source said he'll very likely be back sometime this season. So hopefully there's nothing torn. Maybe he sprained something, just something freakish, because you don't see many injuries like that in pregame. But I thought Pritchett, for the most part, did a really good job. Looking Formby did a good job. And here's the best thing about the game yesterday. And look, Nick Saban is the greatest of all time, but here's something he never did a lot of. Kalen DeBoer and that staff played everybody. I mean, everybody, especially on defense. They played a ton of guys and rotated, especially in the back end, linebacker, the defensive line. And then in the second half, tons of offensive guys, because, guys like Miles McVay are going to be important now, because he could be that third tackle. Bertrand, the young man from Texas A&M, he may very well be important as well. But I would think Miles McVay is probably ahead of him on the depth chart. Could they move Booker out to tackle? Possibly, but I don't think they really want to do that. So, again, developing some of these young linemen is going to be very important. And then keeping Elijah Pritchett healthy, certainly Wilkin Formby is going to be very, very, very important, because, again, there's a freakish injury that I'm not even sure Coach DeBoer was made aware of until right before kickoff. And then the headsets didn't work.
How about that?
On Western Kentucky side, they went out twice at the beginning of the game and then during the game. And so, Nick Sheridan had to spend some time on the sidelines, because you can't be up in the box. Same way with Cole and Hitzler. They were the only two up in the box for Alabama. So
if one side doesn't work, the other side cannot work.
Yeah. So, and Coach DeBoer said he'd never been through anything like that in his career, but he thought they handled everything really well. I asked Deontay Lawson after the game.
Well, you talk about quirky things. How about two helmets coming off in a play, not one?
Yeah, you end up with three backups in on the offensive line. But again, Deontay said after the first couple calls, he settled in, because it was loud and you're having to get used to it being in your helmet. But it didn't look like Alabama had any real problems lining up. One time, I think they had 10 men on the field, because an 11th, for some reason, was trying to run off. They had a miscommunication there.
Really?
But
I missed that.
There was, because they threw a flag and then picked it up.
Okay.
Because there was an illegal participation. So there was a couple of small snafus there, but nothing, awful. And then Keon Sabb, he's pretty good. Okay. I mean, he had 2 interceptions.
Pretty good.
Caleb, who, what's his name again? What was that song? Whatever. So he had 2 interceptions. So goodbye.
63-0 Alabama, a winner over Western Kentucky. The drive chart looked like this for Bama: punt, touchdown, touchdown, fumble, touchdown, 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 punt, touchdown, touchdown, punt, touchdown, end of game. So that's your drive chart for the Crimson Tide. Drew, as he mentioned, was in the locker room. Where do we need to start? You want to start with Jalen Milroe? Let's start with Jalen Milroe for our locker room. Daggummit.
That sounds like Mickey Mouse.
Daggummit. Hang on.
Okay.
I am going to try my best to figure out a way to do this. We're streaming now, so I'm...
Yeah,
a little heads up there would have been nice there, Johnny Boy. On
Johnny Boy.
So we are streaming at the moment, but
right.
Nonetheless, I will do my best to corral this as best I can. But let's dive into some more of the numbers, shall we? Defensively, Bama led by Deontay Lawson with 9 tackles, as well as Jihad Campbell.
Jihad, very, very impressive, Steve. I'm talking about from a speed standpoint, covering ground, made a lot of tackles out in space, because Western Kentucky's most success and how they tried to attack Alabama was crossers and getting the ball in the middle of the field, out in the flats. And they realized quickly. You talked about Q-Rob's sack in the first series, Steve, at the to force a 3 and out. The reason that happened, again, Western Kentucky realized they could not hold the football. As far as you're going to have to get rid of it, because Alabama's attacking, and Alabama blitzed a little bit as well. And but I thought Jihad, of course, Deontay was really good. Both of them had 9 tackles. Now, a guy that we really hadn't talked a lot about, and he played quite a bit at safety, because like I said, they were rotating. Sophomore Bray Hubbard from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. He had 6 tackles. Yeah. And then I'm going to tell you something, man. Remember the name Quay Rusall, number 4. He didn't start at the Wolf, but he played a ton, and, man, he was flying all over the field. No question about that. He was going sideline to sideline. I was really, really impressed with him. He's a redshirt freshman from Carver, Montgomery, who has really just been – he may be the best athlete on the team. Just like if you do the 40 and you do the vertical jump and all that, the lateral stuff, all those cone drills, all that stuff the NFL people freak out about. I call it the Mike Mamula. Now, Mamula wasn't worth 10 cents in the NFL, but I'm just saying, he tested off the chart. And so he just can really play. I mean, I've been told as soon as he knows what he's doing, like completely, he's going to really, really be good. He's getting there. I think, Christian Robinson's doing a good job with him, but I was really impressed. And then, like I said, Saab, looked really, really good. I thought the DBs were in position all night. There wasn't a whole lot of busts back there where they left guys open, and I thought the tackling was really good as well. So, and then again, it was good to see guys like Red Morgan play a lot, Jalen Mbakwe, and they did start Xavier Brown. The true freshman did get to start, and Deshaun Jones played, but that true freshman is going to be a special player. So got to give a shout out to George Teague for that one, because he nailed that one early on when he saw Xavier in practice in the spring.
Let's try Kalen DeBoer, shall we? He's undefeated as the Crimson Tide head football coach.
Good to get a W to start the year. I told the guys downstairs, every win is something that they've worked hard for, and make sure we enjoy it. Go back to work. We got a lot of things that we now have on film that we know we can correct and understand the things that we're really good at and the things we need to continue to work on. So proud of the way they came out. Started fast, both sides of the ball, feeding off each other. Thought the energy was great. Just sustained it all game long, and got a lot of guys a chance to play. Questions?
Let's start on the left side with Matt. Second row.
2 catches, 2 touchdowns for Ryan Williams. Just what do you think of his performance?
Yeah, he's got that big play capability as you saw, and he's done a lot of that in practice, and was excited to see him get out there and big third down the sideline. Great read by Jalen with the coverage he was getting, and we anticipated a possible route down the sideline in a situation like that. It was really cool to see those guys execute, and Ryan just hauling the ball and finish, and coming across the middle on the second touchdown, it just really focused, and it just doesn't seem like the game's too fast for him. So And it's impressive that a guy, his age can go out there and do the things he's doing. Obviously we've talked a lot about him. He's got a bright future, and really fun to see him go out there and make those plays that he did tonight. So the guys believe in him, and he's just done. I think one of the cool things about Ryan is he's gone about it. A lot of attention gets thrown his way, but he's just gone about it and really humble and just, matter of fact, stay the course type of just go to work every type of day attitude. And our guys really appreciate that. And I think they're just as excited as he is for him, with the plays that he made today.
Yeah, it looked like Caden Proctor made a sustained injury during warmups. What happened there? What's his status?
Yeah, unfortunately, he did. Just caught me by surprise, obviously, and couldn't go tonight. And we'll continue to evaluate tomorrow just to see the severity of it, and kind of know more here as the week goes on.
That is a little bit of Kalen DeBoer. Most notably, I wanted to get that in. It was an early question there about Caden Proctor. A lot made about him coming back, reassuring that offensive line, and all of a sudden, we don't know. We don't know the severity of the injury. I don't want to speculate on the severity of the injury, but when you see things like this, though, it does kind of test your offensive line in particular on you practice one way and all of a sudden you get to play another way, Drew.
Yeah, it was, because Pritchett had spent a lot of spring practice at left tackle because, as we know, Caden Proctor wasn't there.
Yeah.
So he was getting reps at both left and right tackle, mostly left. But then when Caden Proctor was back in the summer, Pritchett was repping at right tackle and battling Wilkin Formby. And I think if Caden had not gotten hurt in warmups, Wilkin was going to start, but Elijah was going to play quite a bit also at right tackle. They were going to rotate two guys. But then all of a sudden, that's out the window when he gets hurt. And so you got to have to – and that, that's why I wanted to ask Jalen Milroe about, Elijah Pritchett, because I just felt like that was big because it seemed as though – he had a couple of hiccups, I think, but I thought he played a pretty clean game. Western Kentucky's a good football team.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought Alabama acquitted themselves well because Western Kentucky, to me, will play in a bowl game. I don't think they're as bad as Alabama made them look. I just think Alabama's got a great football team, okay? That's my take on it.
Let's hear from Jalen Milroe. Take two. That this is take two, Johnny boy.
Okay, questions for Jalen.
Jalen, what did you think of the overall performance for yourself?
I'll say there's a lot of growth that's been made for our football team over the offseason and then transition for game one. Definitely excited for what the future holds for our offense, but we left some plays on the field. We left some things that we can improve on. And when you can put up those points on offense that we did today, it's very exciting for our team, but we acknowledge that there's a lot of growth that needs to be made for us to be successful in the future.
And what did you think about Pritchett and how he did it at left tackle on the short notice?
I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him because of the work he's been doing in the offseason and the work he's been doing this week. He prepped really well this week, and it speaks volumes to how he played tonight. So I'm proud of him for stepping up. I'm proud of him for continuing to try to go 1-0, try to get better. And, that's ultimately, how you can improve and how you can get better when you have open mind.
That is a little bit there of Jalen Milroe, our own Drew DeArmond, asking the first couple of questions there to Jalen. The number 4, Jalen, 7 of 9 passing for 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. But his legs as well. He ran it 10 times for 79 yards and 2 touchdowns as well. So, yes, 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns for Jalen Milroe. And I agree with you. Bama did make Western Kentucky look bad, but at the end, I think those numbers are going to help Jalen Milroe slowly get into that more than that conversation of a Heisman.
Well, if he can continue to make plays with his legs
Yeah.
and then protect the football, he did not throw any interceptions in this game. And
Good decision making.
Yeah, I thought he did. And his first touchdown, he moved up in the pocket, and then he kept his eyes downfield, and he found Kendrick Law, and then we had the Bobby Fuller 4. He fought the law, and the law won. I had it ready. So, and
I bet you did.
22 yards away for a touchdown. And
You know what? On the subject of so K-Law, to have K-Law on the back of it on his jersey, I don't know. I'm still wrapping my head around that. Like, I mean,
yeah,
because I've seen jokers buy billboards to put Twitter handles up there before, but I don't know.
Well, again, I got 2 of the 3 right with Ryan Williams. I said he would score at least a touchdown and he would have over 100 yards, but averaging 69.5 yards a touch is pretty good.
Is that good?
I mean, 84 yards and I asked Ryan about the 2 touchdowns. It was basically a go on the first one. And then on the second one, nice little dig route. And then as our good friend Rodney Orr said, Drew, he looked like David Palmer when he made that guy miss. And he squirted through and he was gone. And as Ben Thomas of AL.com said, I've seen Ryan Williams do that a lot. So, and then, Jalen Milroe making the comment that he's like, yeah, I got to warm up. He goes, I got to definitely make sure I warm up during pregame because he's fast. and he's only 17 years old, which is just amazing.
Yeah. So there's that as well.
Yes.
That's so that means he was born, in 2007?
Yeah.
Wrap your head around that.
Nick Saban's first year.
Yeah. Wow. All right, it is the Bama Recap Show presented by Lawlers Barbecue. We need to take our first
Here in North Alabama, barbecue is a part of
back.
what makes our home so special, and great barbecue from Lawlers makes it just that much better. Since 1978, Lawlers has been serving up their delicious barbecued pork, ribs, chicken, ham, and turkey for generations of family get-togethers. Recognized as the best barbecue joint in Alabama for 2 years in a row, Lawlers is thrilled to share their award-winning barbecue for your next family meal or catered event. Order online or stop by any one of their 14 area locations. Lawlers Barbecue, cooked slow, served fast. Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
Explore the culture of craft at Liquor Express and Craft Beer Store, offering over 800 artisanal wines, 1,000 craft beers including 105 rotating taps, and an extensive array of spirits featuring highly collectible bourbons. Come enjoy our craft beer and whiskey bar featuring draft, wines by the glass, or specialty cocktails. Ask about party planning and discounts. Wine case deals are available. Check our social media for upcoming events. We strive to be the cleanest store in town. At Liquor Express and Craft Beer Store, 1812 University Drive, Huntsville.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Rocket City Federal Solutions, LLC is committed to streamlining engineering solutions for all aspects of installations and facilities construction and management worldwide with expertise and precision. These guys are great Americans, helping to keep us safe everywhere from right here in the Tennessee Valley. The team at Rocket City Federal Solutions is headed by CEO Jason Larson, and they have over 35 years combined experience handling projects all over the world. Learn more at RocketCityFederalSolutions.com. That's RocketCityFederalSolutions.com.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Stan McDonald. Stan, tell everybody why you're the best damn dirt lawyer in North Alabama.
Yes, Wes, at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. You know I'm a dirt lawyer, and a lot of our friends know that, which means we specialize in real estate. Now, if you own real estate or you're buying it or you're selling it, you need to do a closing, but a lot of times there's legal issues associated with that. We're a great group to talk to. My son, Lewis McDonald, heads our commercial closing division, and we approach your real estate needs very seriously. We seek to be the premier real estate closing company in North Alabama. And we do it in such a way it shows that we're experienced, we're for your success. We like to handle your real estate needs the same way Coach Dan Reeves used to say, never let them see you sweat. And that's going to be to your benefit, too, when you visit us at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. Our website online is jacobtitle.com.
This is Drew DeArmond of ESPN 97.7 The Zone's Talking Ball, and I'm here with Brandon Pilcher of Pilcher's Appraisals and Home Buying. Brandon, let everybody know what you do.
Drew, I'm a residential appraiser. I can come out and appraise your property, give you a value on it, and I also buy property. So if you have something you're wanting to move on the wholesale market without listing it, I can make you an offer on it and buy it direct.
And then tell them how to get in touch with you.
706-936-3766. Call or text.
Listen to the Bama Recap Show, presented by Lawlers Barbecue.
The tackle. Williams, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns, 2 electric early
on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hope everybody's having a great holiday weekend. It is the Bama Recap Show presented by Lawlers Barbecue. Just to let folks know, we are going to have 4 zone deals featuring Lawlers Barbecue.
Buckle up and hurry.
Yeah. These are going to go quickly, but it's going to go from mid-September all the way to the Friday before the national championship game, which is January 20th, by the way.
Pilcher's Appraisals, big fans of Lawlers.
There is no doubt about that, as I am as well. 256-576-4977 is the telephone number if you'd like to participate. The Kalen DeBoer era, or is it DuBoer? Anyway, I digress.
No, it's DeBoer.
Forgive me for those of you that listen to this radio station on a regular basis. You know what I'm talking about, as the fine folks at Learfield still have not corrected their error. But there was not too many errors on the football field, although we did reference the penalties as well for the Crimson Tide. 7 penalties, 59 yards for Alabama. Is that maybe the most concerning part of this win?
Yeah, and then, of course, you never want to turn the ball over. You got to have security with it.
The fumble. Yep.
But, of course, that's going to come, with repping and getting, used to the new offensive system, hopefully cut that out. But, yeah, you need to cut the penalties out, even though, there wasn't a lot of procedural stuff, okay? It was holdings, especially on the perimeter. There were some – and there was, like I said, a couple of defensive penalties that you got to cut out. I didn't think it was anything where it was just glaring.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like a lot of it was first game stuff. And then I give the defense credit. They stood on their head, especially after Milroe did lose that fumble.
Yeah.
They turned the opposing offense away, which is a good test, really, when it's a quick change. How does your defense respond? Do you look like the University of Alabama or do you look like Florida?
We will get to how the league looked in a bit, but how about the tailback room? It was led by Justice Haynes with 4 carries. I said 4 carries for 102 yards. His longest one, of course, the 85-yard hauling the mail there, and a touchdown as well for Justice. Jalen Milroe, we went over his numbers, 79 yards and a touchdown. Jam, another touchdown run on 54 yards and 5 carries. Ty Simpson, he held the ball into the end zone.
It was a good ball handling. He faked us all out. It was the right read.
It really was.
It
really was.
Peyton Manning used to do that all the time. He could run the 40 and 6, but he would always, fake you out with the boot, and he could just walk into the end zone.
2 carries, 32 yards, and a touchdown for Ty. I promise that's the last time I'm going to reference that.
Justice Haynes had a 2-play, 96-yard drive. Yeah. 11 yards to get him out of the hole, and then bam. And he was not even touched till he broke the plane of the end zone. It was just blocked really well.
Yeah.
Outstanding job, by the offensive line. The kick-out blocks were great. And Justice has got that kind of speed, man. It was the first hobnail boot of his career.
And Daniel Hill, 9 carries, 29 yards. Kevin Riley, 7 carries, 26 yards. This one kind of going to your point, Dylan Lonergan and a carry for 16 yards. Richard Young, 6 carries, 8 yards. Kendrick Law, 1 carry, 7 yards as well.
And I can just tell you, in the future,
they all got to play.
Number 2 is going to carry it too. So just be ready for that, because they're going to get him the ball in different ways.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
I told everybody, what have I been calling him? Magic.
Yeah.
And 2 touches, 139 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, you couldn't have had a better. I mean, I know that, ESPN was, playing up some other young talents around college football, but I didn't hear a ton of Ryan Williams on the game day and other outlets around college football. But Ryan Williams is a dude. I mean, this is a 17-year-old that can make plays. Cam Coleman's going to be a great player. Okay. He had a touchdown for Auburn. So did Uno Thompson.
Yeah.
They're both going to have big impacts. They're both big upgrades of what Auburn's had. No doubt about that. But I still say, that Ryan Williams in the SEC and throughout college football is going to have every bit as big an impact as anyone. And he had a touchdown yesterday, and he's a good player. But Isaiah who? I mean, I don't think they're going to miss him. I think they've got talent. I think Prentice had 3 catches to lead the squad. I think he'll be steady as she goes. I think Law is going to make some big plays. And then don't forget this name. And he deserves a game ball for what he did on special teams, because he's shifty and quick. And I was really impressed with Cole Adams. I think he's a redshirt freshman from Tulsa, Oklahoma, that's going to be a big-time factor. And Isaiah Bond's going to do a great job for Texas, all right?
Yeah.
But Alabama, just like with Keon Sabb replacing Caleb Downs, they got Ryan Williams as a true freshman to replace Isaiah Bond. So I think the Tide's going to be just fine, and then the wide receiver room.
On the subject of Keon Sabb, it was quite a debut for the Michigan transfer. And, of course, the last time he was on the field, he was playing against Alabama. But, well, for Bama's perspective, I realize they won the national championship against Washington. But nonetheless, here is Keon Sabb post-game.
A lot of them have been there since the spring, so I don't even look at them as freshmen anymore. Your season guys, that whole freshman talk is gone. You guys played your first game now, so you got some under your belt. Just continue stacking from there.
Yeah. How big of a difference is those actual game snaps, right? Like getting to play out there tonight. Like that's got to be big for their confidence moving forward.
It's definitely huge. Just that confidence every day. Seeing the game slow down for you. The games tend to be easier than practice, so they could have had some guys overthinking or anything like that, but you definitely couldn't tell tonight. They definitely did their job for sure.
Did you give any advice to them before they stepped out there?
Just be you. Be yourself. At the end of the day, whatever's going to happen will happen. It's just how you go out and attack it, for sure.
And Keon, now that you fit in here, how is this scheme different from what you played at Michigan?
I think it gives us opportunity to see the offense a little bit more pre-snap with less checks and things like that. Some of the guys from the Bama team last year had a lot of different checks pre-snap. It gives us the opportunity to see the offensive pre-snap picture, and we can go from there and kind of fill out what routes will be coming, just having that time pre-snap.
And then walk us through the 2 interceptions. What did you see?
The first one, we're in a kind of a zone. I'm kind of reading the quarterback. I kind of baited him. I felt like he was trying to throw the inside one, and I broke on the outside one. The second one, I was kind of watching him the whole time, and I felt the route coming. Coach put me in a great position, called a great call, and I just went up and got the ball.
First one looked like you were the intended receiver.
Almost. I don't know what happened over there, but just glad it came to me.
Last question. How did today kind of set the tone for the swarm defense I want to have under Kane and getting the shutout?
I think it was exactly what we wanted to do. Put something on tape that other teams will see, and we're trying to send a message to everybody else that we are Swarm D and we're ready to play.
That is Keon Sabb, used to winning.
Well, I love those safeties from New Jersey. Minka was from Jersey as well. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know you were going. I knew where you were going. Yeah, 145 yards of total offense. And really, we referenced it in the first segment, for those of you joining us late, really off of 2 drives.
Yeah.
There for Western Kentucky. Bama with 600 yards of total offense on the opposite side of the coin, 266 through the air. How about 334 on the ground? I mean, you want some balance. That's almost spot on. there for some balance.
It was, and they only threw 18 passes. They were 12 of 18 as a team throwing the football, and played 3 quarterbacks, and it was really Lonergan's first extended action. And I was glad to see him be able to get in there and get his feet wet. But I just like the way they used Milroe. I liked what they did formationally. He did start getting rid of the football quicker, throwing the short and intermediate stuff, which is what he's going to have to do. Now, we all know he can throw the deep ball. I mean, he did that to Ryan Williams.
Yeah.
He can stretch the field. But I thought, overall, though, I liked what he did. I liked he seemed to have his head up, too. He wasn't looking at the rush. But then he also had a clock in his head, too. And when he felt pressure, run. Just move up in the pocket, make a guy miss, because he is one of the 3 or 4 fastest players on the team. Like, Alabama dug themselves out after a penalty, which got him behind the sticks. He burst for 40 yards down the sideline on it, and it was a scramble, but he scrambled for 40-plus yards. Plus, they got a penalty tacked on at the end, for defensive holding. So, again, Milroe has that ability to erase a penalty with his legs, and he's not just a guy that can get you 10 to 15. He can go to the house and you always reference Mississippi State last year, where he basically outran 2 or 3 angles and just and won the race to the end zone.
Yeah.
He is very capable of doing that. And I liked some of the wrinkles. Now, they didn't show everything, but I just liked the play design and how the offense looked. And you can see, and Coach DeBoer kind of mentioned it in the post game, they got a lot to work on, and these receivers are still getting used to this new system, but they should continue to get better, no doubt about it. Ty Simpson had a couple of throws he'd like to have back. The interception, which he got back, and then he missed Rico Scott open on a first down where he threw the ball too low. But again, you got to understand, Ty has still not played a lot. He hasn't. He didn't play a lot last year. And I was glad to see him get extended action. As soon as it was 49-0, everybody was like, let's see if DeBoer starts playing the younger guys on offense. And he did. And they played really the entire second-team offensive line for the majority of the second half, which was very encouraging. And depending on the prognosis of Caden Proctor, again, you've got to have the Miles McVays ready, the Naquil Bertrands, those dudes. They've got to be ready to go, because you're going to need those guys very likely to play some football, because you can move a Tyler Booker, but that's a little bit, risky, moving a guard to tackle. I think he has the talent to do that in a pinch, but you'd rather have some tackles ready. And hopefully next week as well, Alabama can rep a lot of guys, because very likely we're not going to see Caden Proctor next week either. So Elijah Pritchett will play left tackle.
Yeah.
We know that Wilkin Formby will keep Taco Casa in over there at a right tackle, and then you're going to have to play the 2 backups and play these young offensive linemen. So again, but you're building depth too, and I think that's very, very important, especially in this NIL era, and especially if you're planning on playing 15, 16, 17 football games, because
that's the goal.
Because stuff will happen in the middle of games, just like with the helmets coming off. You got to have guys ready, okay, to go in there and be comfortable at their positions to execute.
Here's a little bit more from Kalen DeBoer post-game last night.
How do you feel like your staff executed the game plan as a whole on your first game inside of Bryant-Deneen? Can you clarify the in-helmet communication at the beginning of the game, what that was about?
Yeah, actually, so that it wasn't in-helmet communication. It was actually that their headsets went down, and the rules state that when the opponent's headsets go down, you have to take yours down too. And so I'm sure you guys figured it out, but Nick Sheridan, play caller up in the booth, actually had to come down. And so little time, to get him down there. And then, that's not something that they're going to plan for and let you do, but we were able to hustle him down, and then of course trying to get him back up there, and then theirs went down a second time. And so it was kind of a back and forth. I thought our staff did a great job, because that's something you don't practice, just in all my years, I've never had it happen to where we had to put our headphones down because of someone else's. So maybe it happens more often than I understand, and should practice it, but that was a new one for me. I think also the other one that was new for me was, I think maybe by the third play in the game or one of the early plays, we had 2 helmets come off of 2 of our linemen at the same play. And so all of a sudden we had a different center, left guard, and left tackle from what we've practiced all along. So kids did a great job of just adjusting to the adversity, not getting too shaken, and just continue to play. And the next guys were ready to go. So I thought our staff, I think there's some little things. We had a substitution error. We got 12 guys on the field one time defensively. Those are certain things that we'll talk about tomorrow, besides breaking down the film and coaching our guys up fundamentally and then schematically.
That is a little bit more from Kalen DeBoer. Okay, I don't know about you, Drew. I know we're kind of around the same age frame, but I immediately went back to the mid-'80s. And I don't know if you remember this or not. There was a 30 for 30 on this as well. I think it was the Bills, the Belichick and Parcells, the 2 Bills. And they referenced their phones going out back in the mid-'80s because Bill Walsh was notorious for scripting the first 20 to 25 plays. Well, this was in a playoff game, coin flip, 49ers receive. All of a sudden, their communication devices go out magically with San Francisco knowing what they're going to do.
And the Giants can't communicate.
Yeah, exactly. And so afterwards, Coach Parcells going up to Bill afterwards and saying, yeah, communication problem, huh? Yeah. He's like, yeah. I
think the next year the Giants got revenge. Leonard Marshall took out Joe Montana, and the quarterback must go down, and he must go down hard.
There's no doubt about that. But it did. At least for me, I was like, oh, really? But I did not. You know what? I'm not sitting here saying.
Well, we were in the press box like, what the hell's going on? Because the game wasn't starting. I mean, we know it's on television.
Well,
but
Chris Stewart thought it was a weather deal out of the game.
We first thought the same thing because it started to pour.
Yeah.
I mean, it was raining when I left Huntsville, and it rained. I went through a monsoon on 565, and then by the time I got to Coleman to meet my good friend Brett Beard, it was raining steadily, but it wasn't pouring. But yes, it was raining the whole time. We were getting reports, and I thought maybe there was lightning or something. I said, are we about to be stopped here? Well, think about Kentucky and Southern Mississippi. I think they went through too.
Goodness. Yeah, they went twice.
Yeah, imagine having the Bama recap show after that.
Oh my goodness gracious! I honestly, as soon as they went back, I texted Chris Doring. I said, dude, drink some coffee.
He needed more than coffee. He needed more than coffee.
So he did text me back and said it's been a long day.
After hearing Chris Doring on the drive earlier this week.
Yes. So he you know what? Let's take a break and we will dive into the rest of the league. Because, if you had Florida as the first SEC team to lose, then you're a better person than I am. Anyway, we'll go through the good and the bad and what impressed us from week 1. It's the Bama Recap Show presented by Lawlers BBQ.
Here in North Alabama, barbecue is a part of what makes our home so special, and great barbecue from Lawlers makes it just that much better. Since 1978, Lawlers has been serving up their delicious barbecued pork, ribs, chicken, ham, and turkey for generations of family get-togethers. Recognized as the best barbecue joint in Alabama for 2 years in a row, Lawlers is thrilled to share their award-winning barbecue for your next family meal or catered event. Order online or stop by any one of their 14 area locations. Lawlers Barbecue, cooked slow, served fast.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at JetSuperstore.com.
Hi folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
It's the dawning of a new age in Tuscaloosa.
I understand what Alabama football is all about. Roll time.
Join the Crimson Tide as the Kalen DuBois era begins.
Touchdown!
Join us Saturday as the Crimson Tide welcome the USF Bulls to Bryant-Denny Stadium. Our coverage begins at 3 on your home for Alabama football.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
It is the Bama Recap Show. We've got you every Sunday, including the bye weeks as well, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, the Bama Recap Show presented by Lawlers Barbecue, where the go-to staple for me for many years, as you can see on this camera, is the pork potato. The pork potato is a staple.
They have a day, I think, with buy one, get one free taters.
That would be Tuesday.
Yeah, that's why it's wrapped around the gas station.
Yes, sir. That is my home base, but there's a total of 14 locations better to serve you. We appreciate the fine folks at Lawlers Barbecue, as they are closed today, but get your barbecue coming up tomorrow, as we are all going to. That would be your Tuesday deal for 2 pork or chicken or ham or turkey super stuffies there at Lawlers Barbecue. Let's go through week 1 now that week 0 and almost done. Just programming note wise, we do have the LSU USC game coming up tonight, courtesy of ESPN Radio.
I got to see this because I've been running my mouth about Blake Baker and everybody knows Bo Davis and that whole new defensive staff and plugging holes offensively. I've got them beating Lincoln Sharman and the Trojans, and I think it's going to be a good football game. But I think the SEC can make another statement here because I know you and Wes weren't as high on LSU as I was. Yeah. I think LSU can be a college football playoff contender. You guys think maybe that's going to be another maybe a year wait?
Yeah.
I want to see this LSU team, see if they can – the Kyron Lacey's, what they do at wide receiver. The Aaron Andersons who transferred from Alabama. Is he ready to take that jump? What is the tailback room going to look like? And then USC, are they any better on defense? What is their, how offensively with all the losses to the NFL the last years, what do they look like?
There is a lot to get into here for the next 7 minutes. So let's try to quickly go through this. I was really impressed with Oklahoma. I realized they played on Friday, went back and saw them yesterday morning, but there was a lot of different pieces, especially along the offensive line. I thought that was a really efficient win over Temple, 51-3 was that final score. Vanderbilt is, speaking of different pieces, almost it felt like the entire building was also being, there's a lot of construction on campus, and there's been a lot of construction in that football office as well. A lot of changeover from coordinators to personnel, and Vanderbilt with the overtime win, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. It looked like at one point, losing their lead and then coming back and tying it, having a chance to win it in regulation. But ultimately the defense stood on its head in overtime for Vanderbilt. A gigantic win for the conference, as Vanderbilt downs what a lot of people had as the dark horse winner, and they still can win the ACC.
Look, man, I'm just telling you right now, the most underrated player in the SEC is Diego Pavia. Okay, just ask Hugh Freeze about Diego. I mean,
ask any Auburn fan.
Look what he did yesterday: 12 of 16, 190, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and then on the ground, 26 carries for 104 yards and a touchdown. And so I'm just telling you, he's the heartbeat of their entire team. That's another reason that Jerry Kill was brought in to be basically the associate head coach and help rebuild that offense, because they lost so much talent there at quarterback, running back, wide receiver in the transfer portal. But they were able to reload a little bit, and they were a significant underdog to Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech was supposedly, who knows if they will be, a contender in the ACC. Yeah. But I'll just say this, the ACC better thank the good Lord for the Miami Hurricanes, because they saved them from unmitigated disaster. Because your boys just wiped the floor with Sweeney.
Let's go ahead and go there. It was a tale of two halves again, and once again, Kirby Smart, the king of the halftime adjustments, and especially offensively, really but defensively, that was as rock solid of a tackling performance that I've seen right out of the gate for a Kirby defense. And a little bit of a time.
I didn't see many dudes for Clemson, though, to me. I just didn't see. I know I would listen to Dabo's post game just to see what his thoughts were.
Yeah.
He thought Klubnik played pretty good, but I'm not sure how good Klubnik is either. I think he's just a guy. I'm not sure that he's special. We'll find that out. But I just was not really impressed with Clemson overall. Now I was impressed with Peter Woods, but
were you?
And he should be at the University of Alabama. That's Freddie Roach's fault, but at least Freddie's guys played good in the first week. But again, when I was watching Clemson, I wanted to see, what does their offense look like? Can they press, Georgia? And they did a little bit in the first half, but not much. I just didn't think they had many dudes. Klubnik threw for 142 yards. And then Georgia took Maffa out of it. He only had 59. The only guy that impressed me, he had 6 for 76, was Antonio Williams, the wide receiver for Clemson. Yeah. He looked like a dude. They should have got him the ball even more. But the rest of them, they're wide receivers, they're skill people. I just didn't see the difference makers that we've seen Dabo have in the past.
Texas A&M fell at home to Notre Dame 23-13. I thought that was for A&M, that was a well-disciplined football team. That was a good game to watch.
Well, I'm not surprised, but look, one team had Riley Leonard and the other didn't.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
That's a good way to put it.
We'll see. We'll see what happens with A&M going forward and seeing if they can. That game, it's going to be a huge fork in the road game in a couple of weeks with Texas A&M and Florida playing the Swamp.
Yeah,
it's huge. Billy Napier's got to have that game after that turd that they laid yesterday.
Auburn very efficient as well over the Bulldogs of Alabama. A&M 73-3 was that final score for the Auburn Tigers. Ole Miss blanks Furman. Excuse me. I'm not sure who Furman is, but Ole Miss
Wofford's cousin.
Ole Miss blanks Furman 76-0. Mississippi State a winner over Eastern Kentucky 56-7. I saw very little of that. Let's skew negative. South Carolina and Florida. Which team played worse? That's
Florida. Florida. It's got to be.
How much
never say that when you win. Okay. And Old Dominion is a decent program.
But go back
at Florida. They didn't just lose. They didn't just lose.
The Monarchs pushed around.
I'm sorry, but
South Carolina.
South Carolina won. I know, but I'm just saying, Steve. Trust me, I was getting blown up. Know a lot of Florida folks. This was a long black day. I'm not going to bring up Tom Petty because Tom Petty is usually a positive for Florida. But I'm going to bring up a long black day in Soundgarden. It was bad. I mean, I'm watching the first half and I'm like, this is going to be a beatdown. This is awful. I mean, and I was wondering, is Cam Ward the real deal? Well, he looked like it against Florida.
Sure did.
Okay.
A lot of on-time
now,
throws.
Can Mario, though, we've seen Mario do this, though. He won at Ohio State when he was at Oregon. He'll lay a turd against Cal.
Georgia Tech.
Or something like that.
South Florida, by the way, down Bethune-Cookman 48-3 is that final score. That is what is on deck for the Crimson Tide. And that was an ugly game last year in Tampa.
It was a 10-3 Alabama win. It was their ugliest of the year, but they kind of used it they figured out Jalen Milroe was the leader of their offense, the QB1, and they went on to improve as the year progressed and had a great season, won the SEC, made the college football playoff. I'll just say this, Kalen DeBoer's first game as Alabama head football coach, I would give it an A+ after what I saw offensively, defensively, in the kicking game. They did have a few penalties, but not enough to knock it down to an A. I think Alabama played one hell of a football game.
Pregame will start at 3 o'clock coming up this Saturday for the Bulls and the Crimson Tide. We will have the Bama recap presented by Lawlers BBQ each and every Sunday at 11 right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For Jordy Arman, Steve Moulton, appreciate you listening, and Roll Tide.